The race sponsored by Grins here in Cambridge, and I'm catching up now with Matty White, who has got a very important drive tonight. But firstly, Matty, welcome to Campbell's Comments.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you're only just getting on after a little bit of cheek you showed me just prior to the recording of this, but that's okay. That's what I'm here for. Firstly, mate, how are the nerves tonight? Driving Nicolas Cage, one of the best names, I reckon, in the game. But how are the nerves leading into the $1 million race tonight?
Oh yeah, pretty good, Paul. I just just business as usual this morning, so it sort of keeps your mind off it a bit, I suppose. But yeah, I guess when we get to the races, and it'll sort of start kicking in a wee bit. But I guess you've got to feel a little bit nervous, don't you? Like if you weren't, you're probably not really human. But we've sort of been in these big races before, so yeah, just take it as it comes, really.
Would this be as big a race, though?
Yeah, like it's up there. Yeah, like I drove in a incident final in Perth when it was worth $1 million one year, and there was 18,000 there that night, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's definitely up there with one of the bigger ones.
A little bit about yourself. You're a little bit more of the unknown, I suppose. How long have you been driving for?
So since I was 18. Yes, it's 37 now, so yeah, just a bit over 21 years. Yeah, so here in Australia, did a sort of stint over there for 8 years. So been sort of chipping away.
How many winners? Do you know off the top of your head, or?
It's about 220 here, I think, and then I think I drove about 500 in Western Australia.
That's a good result. That's a nice number. I suppose you want to get more around here, but obviously you don't race as many. You also train a team of horses. How many horses do you train?
Sort of usually do around about 15. Do
you enjoy that part of it? Yourself and your wife do it?
Yeah, we do it. Yeah, and it's sort of family affair. Like Dad helps out in the mornings as well. So we are enjoying it. Really like the challenge of it, and sort of being able to get a horse up, and I quite like getting young ones and bringing them through and getting them to the races, and it's like the challenge of it, and it's going good.
Best horse at the minute? I know there's one being shampooed out there on the rail, but is she your best mare, or?
Yeah, she's probably the most well-credentialed mare. A bit of you, like she's, she won a Jules as a 2-year-old, and I haven't long got her. Sort of Mark Purdon had her for most of her career, and Ken Brecken's got a syndicate in her, and so most of them live up here, so they just want to see her race for a little bit before she heads off to stud later on in the year.
She be the best horse you got there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. There's sort of a couple of 2-year-olds that are showing a bit of promise. Hopefully they might step up and take that mantle.
It'd be good getting a bit of support from Ken Brecken and that. I mean, he's terrific for harness racing full stop, and sponsors plenty of races and drivers. And he's got a slot tonight as well, but it must be good just to get the support when you're only a small team, to get support like that from someone like Ken Brecken.
Oh, for sure. Ken's great. He's a great supporter of the game, and he gives a lot of people a go, and he's just a great bloke. So, and what he puts into the game. So yeah, it's real thankful to him to get one for him.
I'll get into trouble if we don't mention Karen too. Don't worry about that. She'll kick me in the shin when I see her for not saying it straight away. And Ken will say thank you, Paul, for getting him out of trouble for that. Tonight, Nicolas Cage. Like, what can we expect? I mean, I'd just say he's still an up and coming horse. This is a big step for him, but it's not all over after this sort of race. He's the sort of horse that could be racing in the race for a couple more years yet to come, couldn't he?
Yeah, for sure, Paul. Like, he's got there very quick. I actually stood and watched the race last year with Andrew and Lynn, and I think Nick had only had 2 starts by then, so it was very sort of unexpected. Like, it was never on the radar for having him in it this year, but he's got to that sort of level pretty quickly, really. So horses can take a wee while to find their feet when they get in that grade, and they sort of get bullied around a little bit, and they harden up to it. So. He's definitely still in that boat. He's still quite an experience. He's still learning. We're still learning about him too. So, but in saying that, he's been well looked after. So, I think he's got longevity too.
I met Lynn down south. He was down there Grand Prix weekend, I think. I think it was. Or was it the Derby? I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, well, he raced on the Derby on that.
Yeah, it was a Derby, sorry.
Yeah, so he had a couple of starts down there, and he's always been quite quirky sort of horse. He's hasn't been the easiest to train. Like, Lynn's done a great job to get him to where he is, and you know, he still has his wee tricks. So that trip down south matured him quite a bit, and you know, he's come back a sort of better mannered horse and more mature.
I think that was one of the things Lynn said about it, and you say about being well looked after. She loves him, and rightfully so. But one of the things Lynn said, it was as much, you know, building for a future with the horse, and you know, I think he handled himself well on the day.
Yeah, he did. Like he did race below par in the Derby, but you know, it was more sort of the trip away that, you know, was a good consolation to develop him. Yeah.
What about the rest of the night? How many drives you got?
5 tonight.
Any winners outside of Better You and Nick?
Put the pressure on a Better You. It's first start from a stand.
No, I mean we will leave those two out. I'm not putting the pressure on you. I'm going the other way. We will exclude those two. But you got a chance with the other 3 drives?
Yeah, I quite like the Big Dance. She's drawn the 3 the second row, and I think, you know, they'll run that race quite hard, which will suit her. She's probably a little bit disappointing last start, but it was 3 weeks in between runs, and she's better with the racing. So having that run last week just probably put her in good stead for this week, and she's trained on good since. So I'd like to think she's in with a chance, and driving a nice trotting mare for John Dickey, Resolve. Yeah, so she's in the big go, but she's drawn 2, and hopefully we can just keep handy and have a crack at them. But, you know, like Muscle Man, yeah, he'll be hard to beat, and it's a good field, you know, like Tony Hula, he's mare, she's sort of something special. So yeah, it'll be good to see where we're at anyway.
Mate, I'm going to put my Australian hat on. There's an Australian horse in there too called Elderbaron Zeus that doesn't go too bad either.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, no, he's a very nice horse, yeah, and you know, he's trained by a very good trainer in Lou, and you know, travels his horses really well, so you know, he'll be hard to beat.
I will indeed, Matty. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. Good luck tonight, mate, and congratulations on securing the drive. I'm not sure what there was a bit of a fanfare about you getting the drive, but I think you're always going to be on him. But I think well done to you, and good luck tonight. Enjoy the experience above all else. But it must be great, as I said, to have $1 million race here on your back doorstep, mate, and the build-up I think has been terrific. So good luck tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.